Horton Plaza buzzed with holiday cheer, fairy lights twinkling like stars above San Diego's swirling crowds. Jada Coleman, a 36-year-old Navy lieutenant, glowed beside her nephew Malik, 14, his grin wide as the Jordan logo on their sneaker bag. The shoes, a gift for his birthday, sparkled with promise. Jada's mission was his joy, unbroken. Her laughter mingled with pop beats from Foot Locker, cinnamon wafting from a pretzel stand. A submarine navigator who'd conquered ocean depths, Jada felt at ease here, Malik's hand swinging lightly in hers. Then a police cruiser screamed into the lot, its siren slicing the festive hum. Red blue lights bathed Malik, his smile vanishing, fingers clutching the bag like a lifeline. Jada's pulse spiked. Danger. Close. Officer Reynolds, a hulking figure with a scowl sharp as a blade, stormed toward them, hand grazing his holster. "Hold it!" he barked, eyes locked on Jada, not as a citizen, but as a suspect. She stepped in front of Malik, her navy ring glinting, a symbol of years saving lives. "We're just shopping," she said, voice steady. Reynolds sneered, closing in, his shadow swallowing the holiday glow. Shoppers froze, phones flickering to life. Malik's breath hitched. "Auntie, what's happening?" The air crackled, a spark from chaos. Jada stood tall, instincts flaring. Could her calm hold against the storm brewing in Reynolds' glare? Hit like stay tuned. Her fight's just begun. Jada Coleman was forged in Birmingham's red clay, where history's scars shaped her earliest steps. In a modest clapboard home, the youngest of a schoolteacher mother and mechanic father, she absorbed their grit. "Your worth is yours," her mother whispered, braiding her hair, hands rough as gospel. But the streets stung. At 12, a classmate sneered, "You'll scrub floors," sparking a fire. Jada's sharp retort earned detention and her father's proud nod. Each taunt honed her. By lamplight, she devoured math, plotting paths no prejudice could block. At 18, a Naval Academy scholarship shattered doubts, her acceptance letter a flare against Alabama's shadows. By 22, she navigated submarines, a rare black woman steering steel through silent voids. A white officer once scoffed, "Quota hire," as she charted a flawless course. Jada answered with precision, earning medals, not apologies. When cancer claimed her sister Tasha, laughter fading like a lost tide, Jada's heart broke. Adopting Malik, Tasha's son, became her vow. His wide eyes, her new stars. "You're mine to guard," she whispered, grief a quiet ache. Her mother's ring, etched with faith, anchored her through trials, slurs, sneers, battles for respect. Promotions and lives saved were hard won. Proof justice was earned, not gifted. In San Diego, raising Malik and guiding sailors, Jada shone a lighthouse against doubt. Yet Birmingham's wounds lingered, fuel for her resolve. As she entered Horton Plaza, ring glinting, Malik's trust in her grip, those scars pulsed. She'd defied oceans and skeptics. Now, with his safety at stake, what past spark would she wield against the threat coiling ahead? Jada's San Diego days gleamed like dawn over the harbor, a rhythm of duty and love. From an apartment above the naval base, she jogged the Embarcadero at sunrise, waves flashing like silver blades under diving gulls. By day, she sharpened young officers, her keen eye catching chart flaws, her calm voice forging tacticians from nerves. Evenings belonged to Malik, 14 lanky, doodling basketball plays on napkins. Jada coached his team, her cheers lifting him as he weaved past defenders, his grin her true north. Weekends wove their bond, tuning his bike, grease smudging their laughs, baking cornbread, its warmth blending with Coltrane's saxophone. At night, she read him Hurston, Sowing Pride, Malcolm's Fire, Maya's Grace. Yet shadows crept close. A clerk once trailed her in a market, eyes narrow as she picked fruit, suspicion louder than words. A patrol car shadowed her one night, silent but heavy, until she drove on, heart racing, Malik humming unaware. Jada hid these slights, her smile shielding his youth. At the base, she inspired black recruits with tales of submarine triumphs, her ring flashing defiance. Still, unease followed, a jogger's flinch, a neighbor's stare. Her navy blues somehow wrong. She urged Malik to dream big, see no limits, but braced for the world's weight on him. That night, bound for Horton Plaza, sneakers his prize, Jada craved a moment free of doubt. His laughter, her victory. Malik's hand swung the bag, light with hope. But as they stepped into the mall's festive pulse, her instincts stirred. A storm loomed, its edge glinting in the crowd. Could their joy withstand the force she sensed, waiting to challenge her shield? Horton Plaza's holiday shimmer fractured as Officer Reynolds barred Jada Coleman's path, his flashlight a cold spike through the festive haze. Jingle bells drifted from Macy's, cinnamon curling from a kiosk. But Jada's world shrank to Malik's shallow breaths. His new sneakers gripped tight in a trembling footlocker bag. "Open that bag," Reynolds snapped, his bulk shadowing the boy's wiry frame. Jada's blood roared, her navy instincts screaming. Threat imminent. "We paid," she said, voice honed like steel, sliding the receipt forward. "It's here." Malik's eyes, wide with panic, sought hers. "Auntie, are we safe?" His mind flashing to news of lives erased. Reynolds' lips curled, the receipt fluttering to the tiles like ash. "People like you always have excuses," he sneered, words lashing Jada's pride. Her ring gleamed, a silent oath to her service. Submarine missions, medals earned through grit. Yet his stare erased her valor, seeing only her skin. Shoppers slowed, their hum fading. A teen in a cap raised his phone, filming. Maria, a clerk with snapping braids, leaned from the store's doors, voice sharp. "They bought those fairies." Jada shielded Malik, his fingers digging into her sleeve. "Lieutenant Coleman, Navy," she said, offering her ID, its seal a flicker of truth. "We're leaving." Reynolds scoffed, smacking the ID to the ground. "Don't play hero, lady. You match the description. Trouble." The lie stung, raw as old jeers, but Malik's flinch cut deeper. He clutched the bag, picturing Jada hauled away, another name lost like his mother's echo. "She's my aunt," he muttered, voice cracking. Reynolds advanced, boots grinding, hand grazing his holster. "Back off, kid." Jada's jaw tightened, years commanding under crushing depths, now a suspect for her skin. "No cause," she said, loud for the swelling crowd. Maria called again. "They're good!" A skateboarder filming shouted, "This ain't right!" Phones multiplied, catching Reynolds' sneer, Jada's unyielding stance, Malik's dread. Will she vanish? Reynolds lunged, shoving Jada's shoulder hard, pain flaring as she stumbled against a kiosk, pretzels scattering. "Move," he growled, baiting her to snap. Malik gasped. "Auntie!" Jada steadied herself, heart pounding, not for her, but for Malik, whose world hinged on this moment. Her ring burned, faith's pulse against her skin. She'd sailed through voids. She'd navigate this. "You're wrong," she said, voice a beacon for the phones, the night. The mall's tinsel mocked their peril, glinting as Reynolds towered closer, daring her to break. Reynolds' boots scraped Horton Plaza's tiles, his grip tightening on Jada's wrist like a steel trap. "Keep talking. You're done," he snarled, his voice a lash, as if her navy stripes were a lie. Jada's pulse hammered, her submarine calm battling a rising fury. Malik's plea, "Auntie, please," cut deeper than the pain in her wrist, his phone trembling as he filmed, eyes brimming with a boy's terror. They'll take her. The mall's holiday glow, tinsel sparkling, jingle bells looping, mocked their struggle. Maria, the clerk, surged forward, braids snapping. "She's no thief," she shouted, her voice sharp with the sting of her own past, a night when police trailed her for looking wrong. A skateboarder filming growled, "This ain't right," his lens steady. Pain flared as Reynolds shoved Jada against the cruiser, her elbow cracking against steel. Birmingham flashed, taunts, Navy slights, eyes judging her skin. Her ring, etched faith, pressed into her palm, anchoring her to Tasha's vow. Keep Malik safe. "I'm Lieutenant Coleman, Navy," she said, voice a steady current. "Check my record." Reynolds laughed, flicking her ID to the ground. "Lieutenant, just a loudmouth." Malik's sob broke. "She's all I have." His mind reeling with names turned hashtags. Jada ached to flip Reynolds' weight, her training screaming, but Malik's gaze held her. A fight could break him. Maria yelled again. "Run her name!" Clarence, a gray-haired vet, thumped his cane, voice rough from Vietnam's old wounds. "She serves us!" Their words sparked the crowd. Dozens now, anger swelling. Jada stood taller. "No cause, just bias," she said. Words for Reynolds, for history. He lunged, kicking at her knee to drop her. Jada sidestepped, pain jolting her ankle, but held firm. "You're wrong," she said, voice slicing the night. Reynolds grabbed Malik's collar, yanking him up, sneakers dangling. "Stay out, kid!" Malik's eyes flashed, fear turning to fire. "Let her go!" he shouted, voice cracking but bold, his camera steady. Jada surged, wrenching Reynolds' arm with a Navy twist, forcing him to release Malik. The boy stumbled, but Jada caught him, heart racing. Reynolds roared, fist swinging toward her shoulder. She blocked, arm jarring, pain blooming, but stood unyielding. "Stop!" she commanded, loud for the phones glowing like torches. The crowd roared. "Let her go!" Live streams flooding after justice for Jada. Reynolds' partner shifted, muttering, "Ease up," but stayed back. Sirens wailed closer. Backup or judgment? Jada's heart pounded for Malik, who'd carry this image. Her, pinned, for being black. "You're seen," she said, voice aflare. Maria clapped. Clarence's cane thumped. Malik's lens held, his courage her anchor. Reynolds' sneer cracked, sweat beading, but he raised his fist again, daring her to break. Reynolds' cuffs flashed under Horton Plaza's holiday lights, a steel trap snapping toward Jada Coleman's wrists. "You're finished," he bellowed, his fist cocking back, veins bulging, aimed at her jaw. Malik's phone trembled in his grip, his voice a raw plea. "Auntie, don't!" Its lens catching every pulse of the chaos. The mall's festive hum, tinsel glinting, jingle bells looping, dissolved into a taut silence as Jada's world narrowed to a knife's edge. Her Navy instincts flared, years of guiding submarines through black voids now steering her through this firestorm. She wouldn't falter, not with Malik's hope on the line. Jada ducked, Reynolds' fist whistling past, clipping her ear with a sharp burn. The crowd sucked in air, phones glowing like torches, live streams igniting #justice for Jada. "Back off," she snapped, voice cutting glass, but Reynolds barreled forward, boots slamming tiles, his frame a wall of spite. He snatched her jacket collar, yanking hard. Stitches popped, her shoulder screaming. Pain surged, but Jada pivoted, instincts sharp. She slammed her palm into his wrist, a Navy-trained strike, breaking his hold. "Let go," she growled, shoving him back. Reynolds staggered, boots scraping, his face a mask of rage. Malik's eyes blazed, fear melting into fire. "You're stronger, Auntie," he shouted, voice cracking but fierce, stepping forward, phone steady. Reynolds whirled, grabbing for Malik's arm, trying to drag him as a shield. "Stay out, kid!" Jada lunged, seizing Reynolds' forearm, twisting it until he grunted, releasing Malik. The boy stumbled, sneakers skidding, but Jada steadied him, heart pounding. Reynolds roared, swinging an elbow at her chest. She sidestepped, her ankle aching from an earlier hit, and blocked, her arm jarring but solid. "Stop!" she commanded, her voice a thunderclap echoing off the mall's steel beams. The crowd pressed in, their shouts a rising wave. "Free her!" Maria, the clerk, shoved forward, braids flying, her voice fierce from a night she'd been stopped for looking suspicious. "She's no crook!" she yelled. Clarence, a gray-haired vet, pounded his cane, its crack sharp as a rifle. "She's our pride, not your prey," he growled, memories of a sergeant's slur fueling his fire. A mother with a stroller pushed through, shouting, "Jada's one of us!" Phones flared, their light a chorus of truth. Reynolds' partner, a rookie, froze, eyes wide. "This is wrong." but stood rooted, badge useless. Sirens wailed close, backup seconds away, their screech a ticking bomb. Jada's ring, etched, faith, bit into her palm. A vow to Tasha. Guard Malik. She ripped her Navy ID from her torn pocket, thrusting it high like a blade in the dark. "Lieutenant Jada Coleman," she declared, each word a chisel. 15 years serving this nation. Verify it. Reynolds halted, his fist trembling, sweat dripping. The ID's seal burned, a fact he couldn't bend. "You chose wrong," Jada said, advancing, her stance unbroken despite the throb in her shoulder. "You judged a black woman for buying shoes. That's your failure." Cheers exploded, fists pumped, voices crashed. "Share it," a teen yelled, #Justice for Jada spiking online. Maria clapped, fierce. "Show him, Jada!" Clarence's cane thumped victory, his eyes alight. Reynolds' glare shattered, his gaze darting to the crowd, their lenses peeling away his power. "That is nothing," he muttered, voice hollow, but the lie collapsed under their chant. Justice. Malik's camera held, his pride a beacon. "She's my hero." Reynolds made a final grab, lunging to shove Jada into the cruiser's open door. She braced, boots firm, and pushed back, her strength a quiet inferno. "No!" she roared, twisting his arm until he winced, cuffs clanging to the floor. The crowd's roar shook the air. Maria's shout, Clarence's nod, the mother's cry weaving into one. Reynolds' partner yanked him back, urgently. "Stop!" Backup cops arrived, pausing under the crowd's weight, hands empty. Jada stood tall, ID high, her silhouette, officer, aunt, shield, etched in every frame, every heart. She met Malik's gaze, mouthing, "I'm here, champ." Reynolds shrank, badge dimmed by a woman who'd faced darker storms. The tinsel above gleamed, bearing witness. "This isn't just me," Jada said, voice steady, carrying generations. "It's every life you've diminished." Phones captured it all. Reynolds' defeat, Jada's fire, Malik's hope. A skateboarder shouted, "It's viral!" as live streams soared, comments blazing. "She's unbreakable." Jada lowered her ID, pain pulsing but spirit soaring. She hadn't just stood, she'd carved a truth no force could erase. What would this spark kindle beyond these shining walls? Jada led Malik through Horton Plaza's fading storm, his grip firm, sneaker bag swinging with renewed hope. Her Navy ID had torn Reynolds' lie apart, leaving him a flicker in the mall's glow. By dawn, news crews swarmed, catching Maria's bold grin and Clarence's salute. Jada's defiance blazed online. Justice. For Jada swept from San Diego to Atlanta, a call cutting through morning mist. Reynolds was suspended by noon, the police chief's apology brief, pledging reviews. Jada felt no triumph, only purpose. At home, Malik stirred his cereal, eyes soft. "I thought I'd lose you," he whispered. She hugged him, murmuring, "I'm here, champ." Tasha's promise alive. San Diego stirred. A current building. Protests flared at City Hall, signs reading, "Stop Bias." Maria's petition for police retraining hit thousands, her voice fierce on air, driven by nights she'd faced cop sneers. Clarence joined Jada at a harbor cafe, cane steady. "You broke through," he said, his Vietnam scars echoing her fight. Malik channeled his fear into a school mural, waves shattering chains, earning first prize, his smile Tasha's spark. Jada saw her vow kindled, a fire to tend. At a Navy rally, her uniform gleamed. "We serve, yet fight for respect." Cheers echoed, her words fueling equity talks from coast to coast. Jada launched Tide of Truth, workshops teaching teens to face police, film, stay calm, stand firm. Malik drew its logo, a ship slicing storms, his pride bright. The base backed her, rooms packed, Clarence guiding kids, his cane a quiet drum. Protests sparked town halls. Jada's story pushing for oversight, body cams. A senator cited her in D.C., nudging reform. At night, she read Malik's essays, his dreams bold and free. Bias lingered, but her will burned stronger. The city shifted. Neighbors formed patrols, sharing trust, not doubt. An app born from Jada's stand lets users report bias, its alerts mapping safer streets. Malik joined a youth council, planning open parks. Maria's bookstore bloomed, its shelves inspiring teens she mentored. Clarence rallied veterans, Jada's courage stirring their tales. The Navy promoted her, tasking her to teach fairness, her voice clear. See the person. Online, #JusticeForJada drove change. Oakland's camera laws, Detroit's youth grants, each a ripple from her spark. Jada walked the Embarcadero, waves carrying Tasha's laugh, knowing one fight wasn't enough. Malik's mural, chains broken, urged her forward. Her ring, faith, gleamed, tying her stand to Malik's dreams. Maria's fire, Clarence's strength. What futures would it shape? Jada Coleman's stand was a tide, surging through prejudice to carve new shores. One officer, one aunt, defied a badge's blind power, her ring, etched with faith, a beacon for Malik's courage, Maria's cry, Clarence's cane. Together, they proved the truth drowns lies when hearts align. Jada's voice carried every black soul judged before seen, every badge wielded as a wound. Her spark joined 2025's currents, Oakland's rallies for cams, Detroit's coders mapping fair policing, Atlanta's youth penning tales of worth. Each wave reshaped the world's edges, but her fight asks more. Of you. Have you felt eyes that weigh, not see? Words that cut before you speak? In Jada's shoes, Malik watching, what would you claim? Her tide calls. Hear the silenced, challenge the unjust. Share her story over coffee. Let it kindle questions. How do we forge fairness? Join a forum like San Diego's Equal Justice Network. Sign a petition, or write your truth. Each word a chisel. No act is small when it lifts another's light. Jada showed one woman can shift oceans. Your voice could swell the surge. Picture Malik, free to dream. His worth unquestioned. Sneakers light with promise. That world begins with us. Our choices, our tides. Jada's ring burns, a vow beyond one night. Her stand echoes in every step toward justice, every heart refusing to bow. Will you walk that path? Speak, act, believe. Let your wave join hers, reshaping what's possible, one spark at a time. Hit like, share this tale, and let's build a harbor for all.